All right. Yeah. So, in regards to speech, how do you want? Is it better to like say it, or we can go to the space like in
Now,
conference?
hear it. You have 30 seconds to tell me. If you're going to write it, then it's a lot less time. So I'd
Mhm.
like to hear it in, less than 30 seconds if you can. And the whole idea, so you understand, is that for somebody to go, oh, that sounds fascinating. Tell me more. If you can elicit that response, then you've got it down. But if somebody's looking at you very confused and saying, I don't get it, then you failed. So that's why I always use the grandmother as an example, because as I've told you, Bogdan, it's you speak to the stupidest person in the room. And I know this is really hard for you smart people. And by speaking to the stupidest person in the room, you make the stupid person feel smart. You make the smart person feel smarter. So we really have to take your product description down to that level.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so
Uh,
who's going to go first?
mhm. Uh, Let me try. Like I was thinking about different versions, and what I usually use, yeah, it have a lot of probably IT and industry jargon.
Yes.
So yeah, I tried to avoid it, and like it was several versions that I liked, but like I'll use the best one that I think for me it resonates with. My understanding how I see it in my.
Yeah, but you're describing it to your grandmother.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I remember. All right. So, Grandma, remember those times when we had those sticky notes put on our fridge or desk? So now we are building solution that basically allows you to put those sticky notes on your fridge or your desk, even if you are not together in the same country or in the same room. And this solution allows you quickly add voice or text comments and share it with everyone, just like you are sitting together and discuss something uh, like something like this.
That's very good, Bogdan. Much better than the first time we met.
Thank you.
Kate, go for it, Miss Marketing.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, I would explain it as something from life experience. So, and if it was my grandma who loves to travel, she usually gets some notes on her phone how to get to some places. So I would say just like if you have this app on your phone and you get the picture of the area you need to get to, you'll also get the interactive notes on how to do that. So you can listen to them and do exactly um, what's um, what's in there, so you are not lost again, and you can add your questions to that picture of the area, and the person who shared it will respond right away to those, so you can easily get to that place.
Excellent. And Mr. I can't read your name.
It's
My name
Vova.
is Vova.
Just yeah, I was doing some overview of our team when we met, so just forgot to make a short intro. Kate is more like me, doing some sales, operation, marketing, and Vova, our technical person, CTO, and lead software engineer. For him, probably, yeah, this task will be also not so easy as from
Yeah,
the technical perspective, he has the deepest technical perspective.
I know, but he's talking to his grandmother. Not,
yeah. About grandmother, it's like was a challenge.
yeah.
How to explain? But maybe what I remember about my grandparents, this app, it would be the best way to show their friends what their neighbors do wrong.
Oh, that's good.
Because I remember how people live in small villages and towns, and it would be good for them.
Now, Bogdan, did you notice that what he said was, oh, that's pretty cool. Can you tell me how, what, more?
Mhm.
And this is your tech guy, and he nailed it in one sentence. So I think that's really interesting that he was able to talk to a layman, which was what the exercise is. I think the three of you, if we can match together what you said, you have your unique selling proposition. So, by unique selling proposition, what I mean is what is going to make you stand out from the competitors? If you walk into a pitch and everybody has exactly the same background as you do, if they have the exact same technology and tools as you do, why would the person you're pitching to pick you over them? And by simplifying what your product does, the person receiving the pitch will be like, huh, that's really interesting. Tell me more. And that's what we're trying to get. We're trying to elicit this reaction to the description of what your product is. Honestly, when Bogdan explained it to me, I had a really hard time understanding the benefits of the product. I knew what the product did. He explained that very well, but I couldn't figure out why somebody would pay for it, that it would have a financial appeal for me to say, oh, okay, I'm going to join this service, because at the end of the day, we need subscribers.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
having said that, what did you guys think? I'm going to start with you, Kate. Based on the two gentlemen, what do you think of what they had to say as far as what the product does?
Sorry, I didn't get that. What can you-
You've heard different versions
Yeah.
of the product, right? Of your business. What was your impression? Were they exactly hit the spot? Did they go around to the middle where the target is? What did you hear from that?
Being involved in the product, I think it's on daily basis. It's hard to say for me.
Of
But
things you heard, which one would your grandmother understand the best?
more interested she'll be in, I think, Vova's idea, because it's intriguing and it's what all people like to do, majority of them. So if we're speaking to covering the majority, I think that would be an interesting case. And yeah, I think that one gets that point you mentioned, tell me more. So that exact message.
Yeah. I asked you, Kate, because I know you're the marketing person. So I wanted to see if you also saw what I saw, because
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
the product better than I do. Bogdan, based on what you heard, do you think there's a way that we can take the three definitions that we just heard and make it into one pitch that's a two-line sentence?
Yeah, I think definitely we can try. I'm not sure that this combination of all three pitches will be better because Vova raised the result quite high. So his explaining was like really good because yeah, exactly it makes people think of what's next. I want to know more because I believe like at least my it was like a typical problem that I was talking to myself, not to the audience. so I can notice that. But yeah, I think we can try to combine because it was like, yeah, it intriguing what was saying, but definitely it's not enough to understand what it's about.
So let's expand on that, Boris. So you're telling your grandmother that this app on her phone, she can see what the neighbors are doing, correct? Or what they're doing wrong? Did I lose you?
Yeah, what exactly they're doing wrong. Yeah.
Did you
Sorry,
hear?
you're on mute. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So, Boris, explain to me how, now that you've got me intrigued, explain to me how this app would work in helping your grandmother see what the neighbors are doing wrong.
You're asking me, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, because you call me Boris,
Oh, I'm sorry. What would
and
but
I'm
she called you
confused.
Boris?
My name is Vova.
One more time?
Vova
Vova.
Vladimir. Yes,
Your name is in acrylic, so I can't.
yes, yes, really. And I'm a little bit confused with us
Okay.
also. Yeah. Repeat please one more time question because we
So
discussed it.
said to your grandmother, what this app does, it tells you what your neighbors are doing wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So how? Does it go into
How?
the house? Is there a camera spying on them? How's this work?
Yeah. How? She can take photo of I don't know what
Okay.
newly painting fence and send to her friends. It's bad color. Like
Okay.
and explain in all colors without maybe without the text but with the voice.
Okay, great. So let's follow up on that. So what we've done right now is we've given what the unique selling proposition is. I'm using his grandmother as an example, even though it's not your target audience, but just to simplify and to get you start thinking in a more simplified fashion. So what he's saying is that, so you go to your neighbor, you take a picture and you say, oh my God, look how horrible that color is. And then the friends in the neighborhood can respond saying, no, I like that color. No, it sucks. Then can a neighbor say, oh, you know what would be a better color? This. So like, for example, when we talked about real estate, you would say, check out this house in the corner. It's beautiful, but I don't like the fence. And the real estate agent said, oh, no problem. What about this color? And changes the fence in your interface. Is that the way it works? Am I imagining it, or is that the way your product works?
No, you're actually not able to do any tweaks with the image itself.
Okay.
You can just add the comment, and yeah, for example, you can add the comment that this specific area, I don't like the color of the fence or of the house or of the roof, and I like this color. Make a other picture or upload some image in a reply. So, and it's discussion right on the picture. So you are telling about the very specific spot on it. So everyone are right on the picture, discussing neighbors, and it's internal. So the point is that it's an internal discussion right on the image parts itself.
Okay. Now, geographically, can I comment on this neighbor's house? And then can I go and put a pin on 4 houses down, telling them I prefer this color?
If you if you have a picture or if you have a Google Maps screenshot, you capture it, or you have the picture done of the area yourself, yeah, you can upload it in your reply as well. So it can be the comment with a picture with a sample that you actually prefer.
So as the end user, you're asking me to take a lot of steps.
In this case, yes, if you want to showcase a sample as a picture, as a different picture.
So let me ask you this. Given the same scenario about the grandmother, the neighbors, etc., how would your product enhance that experience?
What do you mean by grandmother's example? So, for example,
That oh, this is interesting. I want to take a picture of my neighbor's fence and show everyone how ugly it is or how beautiful it is, right? So if the grandmother, goes to your app and does this, what is it that your app does that's different from everybody else? Because I'm not hearing it yet.
mhm. So the picture can be having multiple elements, and people might have uh, they might not see the exact fence this person is talking about. So there might be several fences. And with our app, you do the pin right on the fence you'd like to say that this one exactly is ugly. And then you can do it very quickly. You just leave a pin and say about this. You don't need to type anything. You don't need to do the drawing with your phone, having this exact area, uh, with red, highlighted with the red stuff that we're usually doing with our screenshots. So basically, it's picture with what you'd like to say about its elements all together. So it enhances experience the way that previously you did WhatsApp photo, you showed something on this photo, you send it, and you added you needed to type what you wanted to say about that exact element, about that ugly fence color. Right now, with our app, you just add this picture to pin my, you put your pin, and you can easily tell what you think about that exact fence without the need to draw areas and have these pictures and comments separately.
I'm not hearing a compelling reason to subscribe. I think it's a fun thing to use on a one-off, or let me rephrase that. If we're looking to get subscribers, what Bogdan had told me was a very narrow market. What I'm trying to do is figure out how we can increase your market reach. And I think, Bogdan, we talked about geo-targeting, a mapping software.
Yeah, I think that was one of the questions that you was asking about in my. So yeah, it like as I explained, it don't work with interactive maps. It just can be a screenshot of the specific place or picture with this place, but you cannot like move as a Google Maps inside the app.
Okay. So I think you have a good product. I do. But I don't think that the technology has been productized to its potential. The way you describe things, everything that I try to make you guys stand out, meaning that the geo-targeting or the ability to change color or whatever, all those things are unique to this particular application. And of course, I'm a marketing person, so I always think of things that are impossible. The thing for your team to do is take the impossible and make it a possible. Saying, Susan, we can't do that, but we can do this. And I think we're missing that this. Does that make sense?
Uh, yeah, like I understand the way. Like we got several feedbacks from the people who start using it, but they are from this niche audience. So, for example, a photographer was really happy about simplicity. He can provide feedback or teach someone something like using this app. Another side, architect who works with like heavy like PDF documents, and they have a lot of this internal discussion. They were saying like, well, we really love this app because we can have this communication from different platforms, like from mobile, from web, which is usually, I think, case for them. So it's also for them was appealing case. But yeah, for the mass market, for regular user who just meet this app in the stores and download it, I agree with you. So there is no big reason to, after he tries free version, subscribe and keep this app using like on the regular basis.
I have a great example for you all. So I was hired by this facial recognition technology company. And when I went on board, I said to them, who's your target market? What's your unique selling proposition? And the answers they gave me didn't resound exactly what we're doing here. It was so niche that I couldn't see how they could have a subscription. So they told me early adopters, young men 20 to 22, for example, and major gamers. And I'm like looking at this technology going, no, it can't work that way. But I couldn't prove it. So what I did is I went in and I looked at the database and I found out that the users were 16-year-old girls, completely the opposite. When I changed my marketing strategy to go after them, then the product became viral. And that wasn't the company's goal, right? What, but by creating that viral, that noise that we did, major corporations started coming to us and saying, huh, this is really interesting. And like one, I did a program with Ray-Ban glasses. So it was with them, it wasn't a fun thing. With the teenagers, what they would do is they would be able to have fire coming out of their ears, their hair would turn different colors, blah, blah, blah. It was fun ways to make videos and to use it for chatting. But with Ray-Ban, what happened was we created virtual eyeglasses in which, or sunglasses, in which the end user was able to try them virtually on. And if they couldn't afford to buy the Ray-Ban glasses, they could buy the virtual version. For 25 cents, they would have the virtual version. So our real money was made on the back end of this, where we did revenue share with the Ray-Ban. And the big money was, of course, when people would buy the glasses, because we'd get a couple of percentage points of the sale. But our average sale of virtual goods per end user was $14. So they were buying 25 cents, 75 cents, these little virtual goods. Again, we started attracting corporate interest in our product where we started making some real money, but it was only because we were able to create the noise. So that's where I'm kind of trying to shift you to, in which we take the product and like what the Fixate people did is they just used it in gaming. So they made it so that between certain game platforms, you can create avatars and use it in your gaming process. what I did is I sent the R&D team back and said, now let's see if we can use it in the Facebook, in social media, in chat apps, et cetera, et cetera. And that was their biggest challenge. We were able to integrate Skype very well. That was an easy one. Some of them were not easy. Anyway, my point is, I need you guys to start thinking that way. We need to think less niche, unless, of course, that's what you want. If you want niche and you want slow income, and then we can concentrate on the niche. I'm thinking on a much bigger basis as how can we make some noise in the market where people say, oh, this is really interesting. I mean, you were talking about the photographer, and I thought that was very interesting in the sense of, can we do what the photographer does for amateurs, right? So you have everybody using their phones for taking pictures, making videos, blah, 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 right? What
Yep.
can we do with your product to enhance that experience? So by doing that, and I think 12 gigs was a lot to offer for free, by the way, for space. Let's take that down.
No, it's 12 megabytes actually.
Sorry?
It's just 12 megabytes
Oh,
in our pre-version,
I
and
think
6 pictures or 6 files.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine then. So the whole idea is to say, oh, this is fun. I definitely need to use this. Let me upgrade. And then what we do is we add bells and whistles, upsell to the more professional photographer. So for the more professional photographer, we'll say you need X, Y, and Z. And then the next level up, for example, we went from a individual business to now a major real estate group, right? They just doing a new building, they need to get the word out, whatever it is that we need for them to do. So now we have 3 tiers of customers. But we have to have the product so it appeals to each tier and the product becomes better at each tier, right? So you have basic, and then you have gold, and then you have platinum, for example. So I'm not, I feel like I'm changing your product. I'm not trying to change your product. I'm trying to get your product to fit to the market.
Yeah, we understand that, and really appreciate your ideas because, like, of course, as Kate mentioned, we are on daily basis thinking about it. We see it from our perspective, and like, we do understand that probably our vision, that's the main challenge, I believe, for us to shape our vision to something that, for us, at least for me, it's more this product about communication, like make this communication easy. And what you describe, it's probably completely another value that we should add to it for the users, that they will use it not as a communication tool, but for something else. So, like right now, I don't have any idea what
Yeah.
this other thing.
Thing in addition to the communication. Never
Mhm.
take communication out. In addition, how do you make this product like what we did at Fix? We didn't change the product, right? We just presented it differently, and because we were based on virtual goods, the virtual goods we offered became different, but the technology never changed. It stayed the same. So basically, what I'm asking you to do is put a new wrapper on your technology. Put 3 wrappers on the technology. One wrapper for the average person, one wrapper for the sole proprietor or the photographer, the one-man business, and a different wrapper for a company.
Yeah, in regards to the company, we've had some ideas, but it's of course takes much more time and probably more challenges from the technical perspective. When last year we've been visiting Web Summit and had a stand for one day, and few companies from fashion and cosmetics industry was visiting our stand. It was like resonating as we understood from some of their challenges. and they were asking, for example, if we can do a same concept but for 3D model. And just a few days ago, Vova made a prototype like to check if it's whether it's at least possible. But it's really like even more niche as for photographers as designers, because not that people know, many people nowadays discuss something like in 3D if they need to like get some approvals or feedback or implement some changes. So they have a special software, but it's really heavy, and it's not that easy to use for people who are not experts in working with this software. So that was one of the idea. Like we got visited from Hugo Boss, like R&D director. He was asking if we can do it with 3D, and they have, I think, like 500 developers working on this solution to digitalize the fashion world for 3D. But it's not maybe you as a marketing expert can look at it from perspective how this 3D capability can make our app viral. Like I'm not sure that regular user would be interested to discuss it some 3D object in such type of application. But like from technical perspective, it's still not easy. But I think what Vova proved, it's actually possible to develop.
So this is where my mind went. I go into a store and I see a dress that I like, but I don't feel like trying it on. So I'd like to be able to virtually put that dress on me and then give a 360-degree view of it, meaning that you can see the front, the back, the sides of the dress. And then I want to share that with my mother and ask her, should I buy this dress? Can something like that be done?
Not sure. I think we are more about like uh, at least implement the concept that on 3D, on pre-uploaded 3D objects, of not created within the app, you can put those pins and add some comments like questions or whatever you want to discuss. But I don't think we're talking about like at least capability to generate this 3D object as from the dress or whatever you will see in the shop. Uh, like actually Hugo Boss is doing that. They have this department who does all these new collections. They train their personnel in the shop before a new collection will arrive. They have this virtual training system on a 3D object. Plus, they already installed those screens with 3D parts of their collections, where inside the shop person can view it, can from different angles, but not put on themselves like on their own digital avatar.
All right. Then you know what? I would keep the 3D for the platinum version.
Mm-hmm.
If we're doing the silver, I'm using colors right now. So silver is your basic, the gold is the medium, meaning that like a one person shop, and then the platinum is the big one. I would save, if I was going to do 3D, I'd save it for the platinum.
Like for more B2B oriented users.
Yeah, I would save that for the platinum group. I think what we need to do is think about how we can make the wrapper that we're going to put on the silver version. How can we make it fun in which people will start talking about it or want to use it? So it's got to be fun and easy to use. Those are the two elements that we need to hit on.
Yeah, and in regards to easy to use, that's what we also got as a feedback from the
Good.
initial users. This is why we're implementing right now, and soon it will be released, a guest mode, where a person who gets this link on a picture, he don't need even add his email address. He just need to type his name, and he starts comments and add his own pins on the picture right away.
But
But in order to upload
right,
his own picture and share them, of course, he need to create at least free account.
so he has to do it from your app. He can't do it from, like, if he's on Google Maps or if he's on an
Yes,
app,
yes.
right? Okay.
This concept of adding pins on the web objects like websites, it's really about, like, we have some seen some competitors who does it, but the thing is, like, major difference with PinMy, that it's developed for web tools and for web users. We are started, like, our major difference was this mobile first approach plus the voice messages. Some of them do have voice messages, but none of them position themselves as a mobile solution. Like,
I see.
they have some mobile responsive design sometimes, but it's still not a mobile application as we, like, initially was thinking that that's our key difference among competitors.
I see. But it's not enough. When I'm saying it's not enough, I'm not saying, I'm not talking bad about the app. The app is a great app. I'm just saying it's not enough to get that silver user yet. And that's what we need to do, is we really need to think about how are we going to change the wrapper on this product. Um,
For us, it's probably a little bit like what we get used and what we hear from every corner. It's like reverse engineering. You uh, describe or you target your ideal customer persona, and then you think on what value you can bring to this ideal customer or user persona. And with this silver approach, like, we, at least I'm personally lost because I don't know. We we lost.
I'm
Oh.
so sorry. I hit the button by mistake. I had an incoming call. I'm end that, and I ended this instead.
No worries. Like, I'm lost because I get used, to think, here is my target, and with how I get can bring some value to this specific person or user. And what you explaining how, like, we need to think is like what value we can bring to mass market, to the user that I actually don't know if it's a teenager or it's a grandmother. So that's like, personally for me, quite challenging, and yeah, maybe, like, sitting somewhere in the silence and thinking, maybe some ideas will appear, but right now I don't have any, like, something to share that I would consider valuable.
I'm honestly, I'm just throwing all this out to get you guys to start thinking differently. That's my objective. My objective is not to get answers from you. My
Okay.
objective to get you to start thinking differently. Um, how can we dumb down the platinum product to the silver product, right? And it's about wrapping. It's not about the technology. That's what I keep coming back to. You guys stop thinking about the technology as much as think about the wrapper. How are we going to present this product, or the wrapper, differently? I think your CTO just nailed it with his example of to his grandmother, how he would explain this to his grandmother, right? He just put a different wrapper on the same product. He put a wrapper of gossip, right? And that's what people love, is they love gossip. So suddenly this is something very intriguing. Now, for the grandma concept, we have users who are more sophisticated than grandma. So their expectation is going to be higher. So I keep going to mapping. Are there on freeware websites, are there maps that you can integrate into your own product? Not necessarily Google Maps, but freeware software? CTO, question to you.
Map, any map or special map. uh,
The one that is hits what we need. Again, um, if this becomes a big hit, then we at least have some data. We can go to a Google Maps or an Apple Maps and say, hey, let's do a partnership. But I'm saying just for now, part of the wrapper. Is it something we can easily integrate? Is it going to require?
yeah, like it's possible instead of image have as a map, any map.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a big deal.
It'll be your whatchamacallit, your proprietary part of your product. So, but it will be just freeware, something white box you can get. So if that's a possibility, then and it's not going to, require a lot of resources, then think about it this way. Um, when Bogdan and I were talking, one of the things I came to mind if I was a young person, is, oh, I'm at this club, check it out, right? And they're using my software, if possible, to say, here's the club, come here. And then I can show them a video in real time of what the club is like. So, instead of me being on WhatsApp video and showing them the video, then have to end the video and then go to my location on the WhatsApp and then put that in and send it. If all that is in one interface, then it becomes interesting for the end user. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Doesn't mean that this is what you should do. But again, I'm just trying to get y'all to think differently. And if you choose to only go with the platinum version of the product, that's fine too. Just know coming to market is going to be a lot slower. Getting revenue is going to be a lot slower. But once you have a hit, then it'll be easier in the long run. So when I say when you have a hit is if you, for example, I don't know, with Canon, it's Canon? No. Yeah, Canon, the camera company, right? Canon still exists, right?
Yeah,
All these camera companies went out of business because of the phones.
it's
So
Kodak, I think, Diane.
yeah. So if Canon says, yes, this is exactly what we're looking for, and you get them on board, then you now have a story, and then it'll be much easier getting other companies on board. However, the time to market and the time of sale, you're looking at 1 to 2 years before you see revenue from each of these large corporations. You probably cut that short is if your product becomes viral and then their marketing department or their CEO says, hey, this looks like something we should be looking at. And in the perfect world, what are we trying to do? We're trying to get you acquired so you can all walk away as millionaires, right? That's what our end goal is. How can we do that is being acquired. So acquisition can be 10 years, 5, 10 years. I don't know what the timeline is. Or if we viral it, maybe a year, saying that, it might be something somebody buys and then says, you know what, let's put this aside for now and we'll come back to it. But what I envision for this product is Google Maps or one of the mapping softwares to buy you. That's what I'm seeing anyway. You might be seeing something else. I'm looking at it from an outsider perspective. I don't have the intricate knowledge that you have, but just start thinking differently. That's what I'm trying to do, is throw out different ideas, different ways to look at your product. Think about grandma. Think about now we've got grandma down. How do you sell this to a 17, 18-year-old? How do you sell this to a college student? How do they benefit from it? Just look at different age groups, different larger niches, not so narrow, or larger markets. What do you guys think? You're all looking at me like, oh shit, she's giving us.
Oh, yes. Just uh, directly thinking ideas.
Yeah.
That's yeah, our usual way we try to solve, problem when we hear about it, not just have bunch of them and then pick something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like
Yeah,
I
for the
said,
students, of course, it's like for niche students, we sure it might benefit for people who, for example, work with some visual materials for education. It brings value if you study some art, for example, and you need to highlight something on that a piece of art that your teacher used to taught you. So that's for sure, but like not probably for majority of students who just regularly visit the universities and have some like Google Classroom or whatever they use. So for them, it's probably and also like to sell it to some educational institutions. I know that they are overregulated, and like even in United States, as far as I remember, every state might have different regulations, so it's not so easy to let some organization use your software versus just if students will use it as a like regular app from their desk.
so Bogdan, what you're doing is you're finding reasons not to sell it. I need you to
Um,
sell it.
yeah.
And you are assuming that the student who would only use this is an art student, but you don't know how students use tools because you're not in school anymore, right? And again, we're putting a wrapper on it. So if, for example, to go with your art example, right? We do a contest, right? Go into this museum and figure out XYZ, and then you get a point for that. And do you see, you can make a whole game of this using the software. So you can virtually visit a museum and then, right? Tell me if I'm wrong here. If virtually, or I go online, or I go on my app of the Louvre and I really like this particular Mona Lisa, can I tag that, take a picture of it, tag it, and put it in my app, in your app?
Mm, Tag, what do you mean tag? Like you can definitely upload any picture and you
Okay.
can add, for example, geolocation, but you will need to copy it from another application from Google
Okay.
Maps and then add it as a comment to Mona Lisa and send share to someone, to your friend and say like you need to visit this museum and he can go to the comment and click on the link and it will send him to Google Maps back just to
Okay.
get the direction.
So now we're seeing a different way to use the product. And that's what you guys have to think about. I'm not saying this is what you should do for art, but we need to start thinking differently. I mean, as a marketing person, Kate, I would love for you to think of a game that people could play using this, like a scavenger hunt of some kind, right? You can say, I don't know, find a bus bench with green and yellow writing on it. I'm making this stuff up, but if you can think of a game or a fun way to use this, then I believe we can create some kind of viral effect or see if that's even a direction we should go or not.
Mhm. For the students, we were when I think it was on Web Summit as well. So we were discussing ideas with the I'm not remember exactly the name of the product. So basically, they are doing the internal network for students, especially for newcomers. And our app is about static files. So, for example, someone drops a file in the chat or flyer or party notification, and with our app, you can either be integrated into their system, like you add the extension or you download the app and you start discussing it in a group, in a closed group. Because right now, what we heard, people, young people, students are more into themselves, like more introvert type, opposed to our generation when we were students. So they would like to gather in some smaller groups to discuss something. They don't want to be exposed right away. So they're more into things that they could um, previously process and then go live with it. So with those, so all of those static files that are shared, all of the pictures, all of the I don't know, marketing materials as well, or training materials, they would benefit from getting some insights, either from campus guidance, I don't know, or internally in the groups. Those were the most like vivid ideas that we were actually advised by the developers of these apps, because they see a need into these, internal campus even apps groups, where everything is more like internal, not on Instagram, where people expose everything to the wide range of people, everyone could share, everyone could see, but more on campus, what's going on this exact campus for this exact group of students, or this exact, I don't know, female soccer players, or something. So it's more about these closed groups and discussions, as well as sharing something like internally in the form of a static file. Because for us, it's right now a static file, whether it's a PDF presentation, a screenshot, picture. Yeah, we're working on video, so it's a bit other type of thing you can work with. But yeah, talk or providing guidance or education on something, especially for newcomers, because they get a lot of plans, they get a lot of, I don't know, campus plan with some explanation on it, but still they get many questions. So
So, so I guess my question to you is, how's this different from other closed chat apps?
because for example, I can, as a mentor or as a person who is responsible for newcomers, uh, I can add this campus plan to the group as a link. People join, and I add pins right on it, and I leave comments. So here you can do this, here you can do that, and people respond right on it, asking me question. Everyone can see all those questions. So it's real time, it's interactive. So we're all discussing that specific plan, for example. And yeah, for me, with no need to answer the same questions, providing additional screenshot, providing additional pictures. So for me, as for a mentor or someone who's responsible, to get these people on board, it's easy way to explain specifics of this plan for a group.
I don't see the monetization behind it. I think it's a great concept. Again, very niche, but monetization wise, I don't see it, especially with schools, because everybody has usually their own, when I look at university, they have their own departments to develop these kind of tools. Um, but I love what you did was you did trigger something in me in which I went, huh, there's something there. I don't know what it is, but there's something there. When you talked about the group and you talked about everybody putting their post-it on the document and everything, I think there's something you can do there. I just don't know what it is right now. Um, again, you guys have to think fun, not so serious. You got to make it more fun just so that more people would want to use it. Um, one of the things we did when at Fixate was during the big presidential election, which was Obama, McCain, and I think Hillary. If you're familiar with these three candidates, they were running for president. And what we did is we created avatars, and then we would have people speak as the avatars, and whoever had the best impression of that particular presidential candidate won a prize. So it became and they had to create a video, and the videos went viral. We were featured on the homepage of Yahoo for about, I think it was 2 hours, because they changed it up so quickly. So we were about 2 hours, just because we did something fun like this about the election. But by being featured on Yahoo, we created the viral effect, and then suddenly our downloads just went crazy through the roof. People downloading our software, again, the free version. So I need you guys to start thinking like that. You need to start thinking more as how do we productize this to be more mainstream or more fun, just because I'm trying to figure, we could do it the way you guys want to do it, but we need a budget of at least 2 million in advertising and marketing. And I'm assuming if you guys had 2 million, you wouldn't do this anyway. So we need to figure out a shortcut to come to market. And what I'm saying is, I'm not saying this as much as to get money so you sustain you. It's more to attract investors, attract VCs, etc., saying this product has something, and it does. I as I'm hearing more and more about it, I know it has something. I just can't figure out how to put a wrapper on this product to make it appealing to everyone, or something that would go viral or create interest in, oh, let's see what we can do with this. That's what we have to do, is we need to trigger those thoughts. So I know this is completely the opposite way you guys have been thinking about your product. You've been really targeting it to the platinum group. And I'd like to first, instead of targeting it up there, let's take it down to the silver and gold groups. What can we do to appeal to the silver and gold groups? And by the way, mapping might not be it. I was just throwing mapping out there. You guys might say, you know what, mapping doesn't do that. However, XYZ does that.
Yeah, it's still when what we discuss is educational direction, like the students with all this. And I actually, about this 3D capability, started thinking when I was meeting this girl Ayla from Techtronic. They provide this education for kids on robotics, and she showed me how they teach kids with this 3D model when it can be turned on different angles, and then like each part of it highlighted, and there is some description. So that was like one of the idea why I asked to try it with 3D. So it's still not a viral, but it's probably a little bit bigger niche, because like it's no need to be institution where it's hard to enter, but it's like small private school for kids that teach them something. So maybe it can be. It's not exactly what you were bringing. I understand. It's still probably platinum, but at least it's a more like feasible audience for me.
No, I agree with you that it is platinum for sure, but what you're doing is you're thinking differently. And that's what you guys need to do is you need to start thinking differently. You're so married to this concept that I'm asking you not to get a divorce, but to get a separation. Go try out other things and then see how you can make this marriage better with your product. But you got to stop thinking so narrow if you want to come to market. And I think that when you guys have some serious money behind you, you'll be able to do some incredible things. But in order to get that serious money, we need to create interest. That's not niche. All right, now that I've blown your brains up on all of you, do you guys want to maybe continue this in another week or two and see what thoughts you had?
Uh, yeah, like maybe you mentioned that you are going for vacation, so it's
No, it got
in
canceled,
about few
unfortunately.
weeks, so we can get back to it sometime on
Okay.
May, when we like maybe have some fresh ideas and additional like approaches that we might like at least bring for your judgment or for your fresh look.
Why don't we, by the way, Bogdan, my vacation got canceled. My friend's brother-in-law is dying and she can't leave. Why don't we look at the 25th? Is that okay for everyone?
25th of April, you mean,
Yeah,
or May?
April.
Uh,
I
April.
don't want this to go too cold for too long. That's the reason why. I'd like
Mhm.
to do it sooner than later, if you guys are fine with that. If not, that's okay too.
25th. Uh, I think for me it's better to take it is a week. So it's next week basically, yeah. Or
No,
week
2 weeks.
after.
Two
Yeah.
weeks.
I will be working, but remotely. We are going to Netherlands, so I'm not sure if I will have a good internet connection. So between 24th and 30th of April, ideally, if we can do it either before or after, like for either 23 or starting from like May.
It's up to you guys. The 23 is, I'm open. Yeah, next week I'm booked, but the following week I'm pretty open. So
Mhm.
why don't the three of you talk and then just send me a note telling me what you
Okay,
decide.
yeah, we can propose you some options.
Yeah.
And just wanted to, if we still have some time, and
Sure.
you, maybe I can share screen and show, because like I was showing it to you on just on my phone,
Yeah.
like the app itself, how like the regular scenario that we have right now.
Okay.
So is this case like connected to real estate or showing something to the students? So let me share my screen. Mm. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So I can either upload or take a picture of the like from my phone, and when I upload it, so this is this plan that actually what makes it different from regular chat apps like WhatsApp or any other messengers. Oh, it's actually maybe some strange, weird format. It's not reading it.
Yeah, I'm seeing a black box.
Yes, me either. I think it's something wrong because I just downloaded it from the internet. Probably. Let me try another picture. Let me find
Okay.
picture. Uh, that's actually first time I see such case. Ah, maybe this one will work. Yeah, this one's supposed to work. Just a second, it's uploading. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like what it makes different, because when you share as a single link this whatever plan or
Yeah.
property, so everyone can actually revisit specifically topic where he have some questions. For example, some people will be interested where is classroom, other people where is the art library, and with those pins they can leave these pins. And right now, even when we add this guest mode, people don't it will be quite easy for them to join, ask their question, or read others questions and responses, or hear them as a voice messages. So that's like a major difference what I see right now compared to similar use case when I need to run it through the email or through the WhatsApp. But I need to send the screenshot, I need to paint something on the screenshot, and I need to add a separate comment, voice or text to this picture. And I should repeat it every time I want to comment like about different objects on this picture. So that's wanted to demonstrate to you like on a big screen how it works right now, just to make sure you understand what this app about.
Yeah. I now get it. Um, but I it's and right now I think the app has it's a nice to have, but not something I necessarily need. Do you know, there's two ways you approach a product, a nice to have or a must have. And right now, the way that the product is a nice to have, not a must have. So again, it goes back to what I was saying. You guys need to make this either fun or have it fill a void. So the must have, if you're going to take the serious approach, which is then you have to answer the must have. And I can't right now, based on what I've seen of the product, answer that. Maybe you can, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
see it
like
a
that's
nice to have.
yeah, like I realize that this short demo and presentation won't change like a picture in general, but just wanted to show you like
Right.
how it works based on the examples that we discussed today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And since I was doing this like screen sharing, let me also share this what Vova created as a prototype for 3D, so you also will have idea what we was thinking about.
Yeah.
Uh, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
So with this 3D object that
Right.
also can be zoomed, turned different ways, and this red dot is like a prototype of the same concept that you can leave a pin on it with the same functionality, like with
Yeah.
comments. And so that's like just to showcase that's what we got as an idea when we saw this robotic courses in robotics startup from Ayla
Yeah.
with her partner, that they teach kids, and usually it's like pre-installed software with a lots of pre-uploaded details, so it cannot be interactive for them to add some comments or answer specific questions of the kid about any part of this 3D object.
So I'm hearing more of a learning tool. Now, not education, right? I'm visualizing a car engine, and I want to change the spark plugs. And what I've done, it's not working. What am I doing wrong? Kind of thing. So somebody will come, they'll say, oh, well, you should have done this. And somebody else comes and says, no, you shouldn't have done that. You should do this, blah, blah, blah. I
Yeah,
mean,
or
that,
a big guideline from someone like how should I do this and that, and he just do it specifically for you, and then realize that actually it can be helpful for many other people.
right.
He can replicate it just sharing the same link.
How do we make it exciting? Right now, it's again, it's a nice to have, but it's not a must have. How do we make it into a must have? How do we make it exciting? Um, in my crazy mind, it would be you tap a button once everything's connected correctly. You tap a button and you hear the engine roar. So, and then you know you've achieved your goal. So something like that. Now that's unique. I don't know
Mhm.
if it can be done because it's my crazy brain, but um, that's what we have to come up with. I mean, if you're going to teach somebody how to, you're not going to teach them how to make the engine work, for example. What you're going to do is saying, okay, this is why your engine doesn't work. And then as the person says, okay, here's the new version. And once it's the correct one, then the person who's directing them can hit a button and it makes an engine noise. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm just coming up with stupid ideas.
Yes,
Again, it's getting you to
thank
think
you.
differently.
It's really refreshing for us to hear all your ideas, because that's like definitely not what something we were taught in past.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. Make it fun, make it interesting, make it a must have, right? Yay, I scored. The engine works and it goes va-boom and boom, and you did well. Um,
Another scenario that I just recall when we presented it, just a concept from the beginning to one of our connection, his was like crazy idea as well. Maybe like that he saw such app as a mandatory for insurance companies when you rent your car, and usually when you rent this car, you look if there are any scratches, something, and when you return it, you want to make sure that they will not let you pay for someone else done damage. So
that's a
that was
great idea. But I would do it the reverse because right now, when I rent a car, I take a video of the whole car
mm.
before I leave.
So you use yourself the same approach.
Yes. So, and I know a lot of people do that. The reason I do it because I saw somebody doing it and I thought, oh, what a great idea. And then when I return the car, everything's okay. Then I delete the video. Um, but I like the idea as it, and now this is not fun, but a must have, right? Traveling, renting a car, you know, take take a video of the car and any flaw you see, pin it here. So rather than, because it's hard when you take a video to point something out. But if you can do it on the pin it, That to me is interesting. Again, it's we're going in the right direction, I guess is what I'm saying. Um, and then if you, let's say we have 100 or 1,000 users who are using it, then we can now go to the car rental company and say, hey, here's what's going on. We can now do this on a 3D version with your cars. So basically, before you give the car out, the agent takes a 3D image of the car, notes anything that's wrong on it, and then sends it to the customer, and a record of it goes into the file. But in order for this to happen, we need to get the end users to use it first to show there's a need for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's an interesting idea, actually, from an end user perspective. I wonder if there's anything else in the travel world you can do that. Not a hotel,
Like,
not an airplane.
in addition to this insurance, what he mentioned, like it was really important to have some timestamp on these pins to make sure that they didn't appear afterwards. So maybe something also during the travel that you need to prove that it happened based on this object that you took a picture specifically in this specific day, and no one can actually ruin it, like with blockchain. If you
Yeah.
once put a pin, so it's no one can destroy it or delete it because it's like forever with blockchain, maybe something
All right.
like that.
That's one of the benefits. I think that's a great benefit of it. Boring, but very useful. And the reason I say boring is from an end user, I would expect that to have happened anyway. But it's a good thing to also say, we've thought of this. Because that's what you want to say to them. We've thought of everything. We've thought about the timestamp. We've thought about this, that, etc. So, so what I was talking about wasn't insurance; it was car rental, just to be sure. I think this is a good route for you guys to start thinking. This car rental, I would have never thought of that. That was a great idea as far as how to make a must-have use of your app. But I'd like to say you can use it for car rental, you can use it for this, you can use it for that. You know what I mean? That's kind of like what I'd like to do. And then based on how people use it, then we can go approach the big companies, the platinums, saying, hey, look, this is the number of users and how often they're using it. Your product, your company can really benefit from it. So it shortens your sales cycle, is my point for your platinum packages.
One other use case we saw in travel and housing rentals is that when you want to rent an Airbnb, usually hosts send you a lot of pictures explaining stuff like, here you can see the door, not this green door but this red door, and here you press exactly this combination so the key will fall out, or stuff like that. And many tutorials, even in the Airbnb posts listings, you can see multiple listings with pictures where something is drawn and explained.
That's a great idea too. Now
Yeah.
that's your gold package. So now stay in that thought process and figure out what the silver package would be for that. So the gold package would be the individual, right? Sole proprietor, one person company. In this case, it's a one person Airbnb owner. But as a renter, how can I use this? And I'm not sure there is a way. My point is start thinking that way. right now you're all focused on B2B, which is great. And like I said, you have different packages, right? So the first package for the end user is free. The second package is, some charge, the gold, and then the big money is the platinum. But I think that's really good too. I mean, again, a way to get acquired by Airbnb, right?
Yeah,
That's
for the renter, we thought that the same as for the car rentals for people who are renting cars. So for example, here in Italy, you're entering the apartment and it has white walls. When you want to move out, in case the walls are not white, it's written in the contract, so the owner has a right to have subcontractors to paint all of these, and the standard amount you put as a money, I don't know how to say it. So you put 2 or 3 monthly payment amount just in case for these damages. So they're staying with the owner until you actually move out. And in this contract is written that so when you're moving out, he's able to use that money to hire someone and to do the repaint of the whole apartment or of the whole area, so it's perfectly white. So the same as with the car. So I am entering that apartment, I'm starting to rent, I do a short video or pictures, exactly pinning, and it's like a history on my files. It has the date, it's like it has everything. So it was on the day when I moved in, and the damage was not there. So when I'm moving like out, the owner has no right to, charge me with the stuff that I need.
so we're talking about the owner using this app.
Yeah, the same as renter myself. I'm interested, so my money are not used to repaint the whole apartment because I do leave 2 or 3 monthly payments in advance, and it's very common, issue and problem that might appear.
I think that the landlord is a great idea. Again, that goes back into our gold,
Yeah.
as our gold levels. I don't see it right now for the silver yet, but that doesn't mean it won't be. Trying to think. So these are different ways of thinking. Are you seeing it? You're all coming up with it. You have everything that I'm asking, you have in your brains. It's just buried somewhere. You need to pull it out. And it's just really by being more creative in your thinking. Stop thinking from a project or from a technological point of view. Think about it from, I use the grandmother as an example, right? Now we've graduated to, let's look at it as an 18-year-old, as a 25-year-old, as a 30-year-old. How would they have this product because it's a must-have, not a nice-to-have? And you're pretty good on the B2B side, so you need to start thinking the B2C, because if you don't know the B2C, it's hard to sell it to a B2B because the B2B is selling it to B2C. So in the US, we called it a B2B to C, and that's what your market is going to be, a B2B to C. Okay, I think we're good. We're in an hour and a half now. And our CTO really needs a cup of coffee, I can tell. So, so why don't you guys talk and then let me know when you want to have our next call, if you want to have
Right.
the next call.
Yeah. Sure. Thanks a lot, Susan, for this meeting and for bringing different perspective to all what we already seen every day so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll get back to you with a proposed date for the next meeting, and
Okay.
yeah, enjoy your day.
All right. You too. Have a great weekend.
Thank
Have a
you.
great
Thank you, likewise.
Bye bye.
Bye
bye.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.